today's video, I want to talk to you all about pre-race nutrition, and I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to eat, when you need to eat it, how much, which foods to avoid, so that you can get to the start of the race full of energy, but also you can avoid the tummy upset, the digestive problems, and more importantly, bonking or hitting the wall. So whether you're doing a 10K, a half marathon, a marathon, or a triathlon, I want to explain to you exactly what you can eat to really fuel yourself up and power your way to an amazing race day. So stick with me and let's get into the video. My name is MJ and this is Planted Nutrition. We're an energy optimization and endurance nutrition specialist. We help people just like you understand the real power of nutrition so that you can boost energy levels and smash your endurance performance targets. So first of all, why is pre-race nutrition important? Well, pre-race nutrition is part of a wider consideration of how you really get yourself fueled and ready for the race. And we want to think about the carbohydrate loading days that you have beforehand and also the fuel you take in during the race, but they're really two separate and more detailed conversations that I'll cover in a separate video. What we want to focus on is the pre-race nutrition, and really there are a few reasons why this is still important. So the first one of those is it makes you feel good. If you have a nice meal ahead of the race, if you fuel yourself with the right foods, it's going to make you feel good even from just a psychological standpoint. And actually having a really nice pre-race meal can really make or break your day, because if you get it right, you'll get to the start line feeling ready to go after that PB and have a really great race day. But if you get it wrong, this is where you can end up bonking, hitting the wall, having digestive issues, tummy upset, and that can really set you up for not a great day in the office. And you don't want to spend all this money on a race and do all the training getting ready for the race and then neglect your nutrition to the point where that is the thing that pulls you down on race day. And having a really good pre-race meal can really make or break that situation and set you up for success, or it can turn you the other way. Now, the body has two main sources of energy and fuel. One of those is fat and the other is carbohydrates. And whilst the body stores a lot of energy in the form of fat, it only stores a limited amount of carbohydrates, up to around 90 minutes of carbohydrates. So if you don't take in any carbohydrates, you'll really burn through all of your stores in around about 90 minutes. And when it comes to endurance races, carbohydrates really are the body's preferred energy source. Now, if you think about it, in most situations, when you get to race day, you will be getting up early. And what that means is when you get up to have your pre-race meal, you would have slept for a period of time, and that will have slightly depleted your carbohydrate stores. So one of the main aims of a pre-race meal is to get you to the start line with that roughly 90 minutes of carbohydrate stores topped up, so that you've got the right amount of carbohydrates to really start the race well. And this will really help with the dreaded bonk or hitting the wall. So one of the main reasons why we have a pre-race meal is to top those carbohydrate levels up back to that 90 minutes of storage so that you can hit the race hard, and then you can get into the fueling strategies that will carry you through the rest of the race. So we know that carbohydrates are the main fuel source for endurance races, and your body's going to really be looking to those carbohydrate stores to power you through the race. We also have fiber, protein, and fat, and actually in a balanced, healthy diet, I would always be encouraging people to eat lots of fiber, lots of protein, and lots of those healthy fats. But actually, these are nutrients that you want to avoid when it comes to your pre-race nutrition. And that's for a couple of different reasons. So first of all, if you have fiber or protein or fat when you have your pre-race meal, what that's going to do is slow down the digestion of the carbohydrates. I mean that it's not going to be as effectively absorbed into the body and reaching those muscle tissues to be used by the time you hit the start line. And secondly, what that then means is the food could be stuck in your tummy, or it could be in your tummy for longer, which means when you do start, it could be rumbling around in there. And that's what's really going to start to cause those digestive and GI issues that you might have already experienced, meaning you have those unplanned trips to the toilet. So with fiber, protein, and fat, the advice is to try and minimize them as much as you possibly can. You're not going to get them to absolute zero, but you really want to try and avoid foods that have fiber, protein, or fat. A little bit of protein is okay, but I would say no more than 10 to 15 grams, but you certainly want to reduce the fiber and fat content significantly so that you maximize the carbohydrates' ability to get absorbed into the body and reach the muscles so that they can be used by the time you get to the start line. So that means we have an increased focus on carbohydrates and a reduced focus on fiber, protein, and fats. So what types of carbohydrates should you focus on when it comes to the pre-race nutrition? Well, you want to go for those simple, those fast digesting carbohydrates. So this is where the white carbohydrates like white rice, white pasta, white bread really come into their own, because they're going to be digested and absorbed much faster. So the carbohydrates you want to focus on are those white, simple, fast digesting carbohydrates, and they're really going to allow you to digest them, absorb them quickly so they can get to the muscle tissues for use. And the benefit of these more simple carbohydrates is they have less fiber in them, so that means you're not going to have the potential risk of fiber going into your digestive system and causing the tummy upset that many of you may have experienced so far. So a quick recap: increase the amount of simple and easily digested carbohydrates, reduce the amount of fiber, fat and protein that you take in, and the main aim here of the pre-race meal is to top those carbohydrate stores back up so that you've got that 90 minutes of stored energy to use when you get to the start line. How many carbs should you eat in your pre-race meal? Well, I've popped a little graphic on the screen to show you that usually this is measured in grams of carbohydrates per kilogram of body weight, and it depends on what time you eat the meal, how many hours before the race that you eat it. So for example, what you'll see is if you're eating around 4 hours before your race, you want to go for somewhere around 3 grams of carbohydrates per kilogram of body weight. However, if it's 2 hours before the race, you're not going to have as much time to digest and process that food. So you want to drop that down to 1 to 1.5 grams of carbohydrates per kilogram of body weight. So with that being said, these are highly individualistic. So you really want to test this and find out what works for you. Test out these numbers, practice with them, and you'll find something that works for you. And when it comes to the 30 to 60 minutes before the race, you may want to just top yourself up, just have that last little bit of intake before the race starts. And in those situations, I really wouldn't advise eating anything too solid. And this is where your energy gels with the option of adding caffeine in can come in handy. So an energy gel with caffeine in the 30 to 60 minutes may just give you that final little boost you need to really get you ready so that you're firing when it comes to the race starting. So I've popped on screen some examples, and you'll see that these are really quite basic foods. And that's because you want to try and go for simple carbohydrates. So in your pre-race nutrition, simple is better. And these examples that you'll see on the screen are just taking advantage of the simple foods that you should have available to you to really make sure that you maximize the absorption of those carbohydrates into your system and getting you ready for the race start. And that's really all there is to it. A high carbohydrate, low fiber, low protein and low fat meal in the 2 to 4 hours ahead of the race really should set you up for success. And this is exactly what we do. We are an energy optimization and endurance nutrition specialist. So we offer a range of services when it comes to endurance nutrition and helping you get to race day feeling ready to conquer your goals. So I put the link to the website below. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to talk to you about how I can help you more. And I've also put a link to a free endurance nutrition guide as well. So if you're interested in reading a bit more about this, click on the link below for your free guide. And with that being said, thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.